Go talk to your boss about your pay. Yeah, easier said than done, right? Good morning and welcome to In the Car with Clint. Yesterday I did a video about talking, having conversations about your about getting a pay rise if that's something that you desire, and taking it to them with what can you do for the company, not so much what can the company do for you. I had a question on my Instagram about someone asking, if they are aware that they're being underpaid in their business compared to the opposite sex, how would I address that? And I've responded to the Instagram, but I thought it was probably something that I should talk about in more detail on video. Now, disparity in wage purely based on your gender is not something that I'm cool with. I'm very merit based to the point where I guess I've got to be careful how I say this because I'm going to piss someone off. I think that I like the idea, no, it's not even that. I believe in equality, but I don't believe in giving someone a position just because of their sex, just to try and tick some gender equality box. It's a fine line, and I know that we have, the discrimination laws in place to protect people from bosses that may not be as open and liberal around, the gender or the ethnicity or the background of someone. So it's very hard for me to go, look, I just think you should, don't see color or don't see sex. But the reality is some people do. So if you're in a position where you feel like you're being discriminated against because of your sex, I encourage you to have that conversation with one of your leaders. Now, be really, really careful, because there might be more factors in play. And I know that's, the opinion of an owner or a boss. Like, I'm like, well, maybe it's not that. Maybe you're just not, ticking these boxes. But if you go to someone and accuse them, and it is an accusation, but if you go to someone and raise a concern that you're being underpaid because of your sex, make sure you're right, or at least that there's enough evidence in play that you could be. It's a fair question, because I think some people would take it that don't believe that they are doing the wrong thing might take offense to it, but it is your right as an employee and as a human being to have that conversation. Now, I said at the start of this video, easier said than done. I'm very aware that it's not that easy if you're in a company that's, the owners and the bosses are unapproachable, and you're continuously pushed down. I can only see it from my point of view in the business that we've got. And if I had if I was working for someone, I believe that I was being underpaid for my skill set compared to other people in the business, and that they were a different sex or a different race or a different age, and that was the reason why I was being underpaid, and I couldn't have a good conversation with my boss about it, or I did have a conversation about the boss about it and nothing changed, you leave, right? And if you're as good as you believe you are, you'll get another job, right? And I think sometimes people just get in the habit of staying there because it's where they've always been. But if nothing's going to change, why would you stay? And you might pave the way for the next person, And I know that sometimes that people have got situations where they've got mortgages to pay and they've got kids that they need to make sure that they feed, and just quitting the job isn't as easy as I make it out. But until you put yourself in a position of scarcity or risk or fear, you'll find that you don't work as hard. Now, if you quit a job because you don't agree with the way it's been handled, you're going to be in a position where you really need to go find a job. Now, the employment market's pretty good in South Australia, so I believe that it wouldn't be too hard to find a job if you were as good as you think you are. But, if that's a concern, maybe start looking for a job before you leave. Have that other vine ready to grab before you let go of the vine. That's a Tarzan analogy. So I know that was really scattered and vague. I wanted to kind of try and put something in video form that might help people. It's a really touchy subject, and I think sometimes when you're in the eye of the storm and you believe that that the whole, well, not the whole world, but the business is against you or the leadership's against you, that sometimes you might be, you might not be seeing everything. In saying that, you might be right, and if that's the case, you need to address that and have a conversation with someone in the business. And it might not be the boss, it might be someone else, you know, that's, I guess, in a senior position, or someone that you can confide in, and just, I guess, approach that subject and go, look, am I seeing this right, or am I tripping? Like, is it me? And I think, yeah, go from there. I know that's not a really clear-cut answer. I hope that's helped from an expansion on yesterday's video. The unfortunate reality is there are people out there that will treat people differently because of their age, sex, race. I can't even think of other discrimination things. We just don't. I don't see it, or I hope I don't see it. So yeah, that is it. If you've got any questions or comments, hit me up. If you want to talk about it further, the person that messaged me, if you want to actually, I guess, expand on it in DM form, I'm fine to do that. I hope that you find a resolution with your employment, or if you're asking on behalf of someone else, hopefully they can help. They can find what they're you know, looking for in an equality and fairness standpoint. Be kind to each other. I'll talk to you tomorrow.